What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Cody and Derek, back for another one, guys. And today we are going to look at some free agents still available for the Indianapolis Colts that we think would be good fits with the Colts based off of some positions of need. Those positions of need that we are going to talk about today are primarily corner and interior offensive line help. And so, shout out to our guy, Shad McGinnis over there. He does great work, obviously, with everybody at horseshoehuddle.com. And he kind of had reported a number of days ago now that the Indianapolis Colts were looking to, in the coming days, adding to these two positions. And so we thought that we would kind of talk about some guys that are still available that we think would be solid players here for the Indianapolis Colts. So, Derek, I'll let you choose, man, which position you want to go to first.
Well, let's just go ahead and start with the guard position. And I feel like that's a very underrated position that the Colts still need to figure out.
All right, sounds good. Let's do that. So, right guard right now, obviously, the Colts have Will Fries, who played the majority of the season when Danny Pinter got benched. He started the rest of the way, and I thought he played pretty well, all things considered. But I think the Colts would still be a pretty good idea for the Colts to consider adding some guard help. It looks like they will do that. So, a couple guys that are immediately on the market. Dalton Reisner's one name, Derek, that I know a lot of people have said. He was formerly with Denver. He's 27 years old. What are your thoughts on him and kind of what you think his fit could be here with Indianapolis at the guard position?
It definitely could be really good for us. I mean, you look at a lot of these different guards and including Risner. You got a bunch of guys here who are still kind of young, which I think is the important aspect of this. I don't want to just get somebody who is, going to be like in their early to mid 30s and just have a fill-in piece. I'm trying to find a solution at that spot for at least a couple years. You may not be able to draft one in the specific one that you want in the second or third round this year, because you need to look at a bunch of different positions from the Colts perspective. And we all know that the Colts a lot of times don't always go with positional need. They go with best player available at any position at that point. So it's all about, who we can get at that spot that's going to end up being someone that makes the most sense. And I think if you're just looking at it from who is like one of the best guards still left of like everyone in the mix, I would definitely say Dalton Risner would be probably one of the better ones. There's a couple others though, but I think when you get a 27-year-old that's been a multi-year starter and a lot of other things, I think that would make the most sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. He's 27 years old. So he has a good number of years still. Obviously, the shelf life of an offensive lineman is a lot longer than most positions. So you do think that he would be a good guy potentially long term to push Will Fries or potentially take over that spot at right guard. There's some other guys as well. Trey Turner, he's 29 years old. Bobby Hart, he's 28 years old. Gabe Jackson's a little bit of the older guy here. It's at 31 years old. But all these guys have had some starting experience in the league. And I think regardless of which route you go, whether you go more of a Dalton Risner, the younger type of guy that could be your long-term starter, or if you go with a Gabe Jackson, that's maybe a 1 to 2 year deal to push Will Fries. I think regardless of it, I think any of these guys are solid quality options here for the Colts to consider. And best case scenario is, man, that Danny Pinter beats all these guys, or not Danny Pinter, that Will Fries beats all these guys out at right guard, and there you have a quality backup here at right guard. And I think that would make a lot of sense from depth purposes. Or, hey, if Will Fries is the backup there and he's kind of like your sixth offensive lineman, that's a pretty good sixth offensive lineman for you. So I think any of these guards are good, but I think Dalton Risner is probably the one that makes the most sense. Now, the question will come down to price, I think, but, he's been in the market for this long. So how much really will a guard demand at this point? I guess we will see. But those are guys, some names there of some some guards. We can move on to corner, which I think has a little bit more of a market and some more bigger names that people maybe know a little bit more. The big one that's kind of been linked to Indianapolis, and I know the Colts had interest last offseason, Shaquille Griffin, right? He was with the Jaguars last year. He signed that big contract, and then, things just didn't work out with Shaquille Griffin. He's had some injuries, some inconsistent play, but I've always liked him as a player. I've always thought he's a solid corner. He's not spectacular. He's not like a shutdown corner, but I think he's kind of got that prototypical size, right, that the Colts would be looking for in a corner. He's played a lot. He's had some success in the league, right? He's only 27 years old. Former third-round pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, what are your thoughts here on the Colts potentially looking to add to their corner room here with a guy like Shaquille Griffin?
Yeah, I think it's very important that the Indianapolis Colts get one of these veterans in there because you got rid of your veteran guy um in obviously you losing Rodney McLeod for the safety room, and you're losing Stephon Gilmore, trading him to the Cowboys. So you're losing a lot of veteran leadership in this group, and you got a ton of young guys. I know Kenny Moore's in there still. And of course, he's very well respected in the locker room. It's just nice to have another veteran piece out there at corner because it kind of holds everything in place. And you want to try to find somebody who's been very solid throughout his career. Obviously, when Shaquille Griffin got that big contract a year or two ago, clearly, I mean, he's done a lot of good in his early career to be able to earn a contract like that. He's never been an elite corner, but he's always been a very reliable, very solid corner in this league, which definitely makes me want to potentially bring him in. There's a couple other corners that we talk about that, you could potentially see them trying to get. The Colts need a lot of corner help. So it's not going to surprise me if they dip in free agency and dip in for the draft because it's a very big position for the Indianapolis Colts and they need to figure it out because after Isaiah Rodgers, and you don't know if you're going to bring Kenny Moore back here shortly. He's got 1 year left on his contract. So, and we saw how bad he was in 2022. If he does have a rebound year, then that's what we certainly hope that he does because it was a really bad year for him this last year. After that, you don't have anyone. So you really need to get veterans on this. And Shaquille Griffin makes the most sense, being younger and has been the probably most reliable of anyone on this list. But I know that we talked about a couple different guys. You talk about Rock, trying to bring him back potentially. And then I know you brought up the idea of maybe a Marcus Peters thrown in there. Marcus Peters is the best corner of everyone on this list of available players still left. But I mean, the question mark has always been his health, along with the fact that, he wants quite a bit of money. It's a guy that's missed quite a few games over the last several seasons. But obviously, when he plays, he's really, really good. But it's a matter of if he plays. That's the big question mark.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. I think out of the guys, Shaquille Griffin, then Rock, then Marcus Peters, just because I think like both these guys, Shaquille and Rock, they're both in their mid 20s. So could they potentially be a part of the long-term solution at corner? Yeah, they still could. They still have some time. Whereas Marcus Peters is clearly more of a stopgap solution here. But yeah, I think either any three of these guys would definitely be an upgrade, obviously, from what the Colts have with the void left from Stephon Gilmore being shipped out to Dallas. So I think like any of these three corners, I would be happy with. I think Shaquille Griffin makes the most sense. I don't know if Rock would want to come back to Indianapolis, maybe after some of the comments that he made on his way out. Then again, you never know with Rock and what would happen with that. He's never played in Gus Bradley's system. So, who knows? But Yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts here on some of these players potentially available for the Colts at the guard and corner positions. Let us know who are some of your favorite fits for the Indianapolis Colts. I think we would say Dalton Risner, Shaquille Griffin if we were choosing. But what do you guys think? Is there another corner, another guard, another free agent, not of these positions that you guys would like to see the Colts consider bringing in? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.